What's up, guys? Your boy's back. I'm bringing you guys a reaction. We're reacting to What Culture Wrestling's ups and downs for WrestleMania Day 2. If I missed anything in Day 1, like the Undertaker AJ Styles Boneyard match, that match was amazing. If you want me to do it, give me 10 likes. Alright, let's get to the video.
And that
let's get to the video.
It is done. The first ever two-night WrestleMania is in the books. And no matter what you want to do, you're never going to be able to change it unless you have a dive machine with Doc Brown. You can get in, and then you may be able to have some.
Sign in.
Before we do get into the upping and the downing, I just want to say, whether you thought things were good, whether you thought things were bad, whether I give them an up or whether I give them a
by the
down,
way, sorry, I'll have a poll up. Tell me which match you think was better, the Firefly Funhouse match or the Boneyard match. Let me know. And check out What Culture Wrestling. They have a ton of good shit.
In the world, and from the bottom of my heart, I truly do appreciate that. Thank you. But my name is Simon Miller. If you haven't seen WrestleMania 36 Ups and Downs Part 1, make sure you go and see it first, because I've decided this is a bit like the Godfather trilogy. Look at me overestimating my own product. But it's now time for night 2. Get ready, brace yourself, because there may be even more madness to talk about here. Let's up those WrestleMania 36 Night 2 downs.
Ups and downs.
We had another match on the kickoff, and it was Liv Morgan versus Natalya. And if you're wondering, how did this end, you already know in your brain, because it did finish with the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment. Bring down the counter, that is 21, and it's 3 for WrestleMania 36 as a whole, which I believe is too many. Also,
roll-ups.
Natalya was doing some roll-ups. And then Liv Morgan was doing some roll-ups.
I'm glad Liv Morgan won, though. She needed it more than Natalya did.
Natalya was all flustered, like, oh, I don't know what's going on. And she lost after a 3 count, because that's how you lose in wrestling. You have your shoulders pinned to the mat for the 1, 2, 3. Now, to be fair, this actually wasn't that bad at all. And Liv Morgan is far better than she gets credit for, but that finish has just become irksome now, hasn't it? Sometimes it's nice to have a really solid victor and just somebody that happened to lose a wrestling match. Happens in boxing, it happens in MMA, happens in football, it happens in all sport. You're allowed to do it in professional wrestling too. Because of that, down. Stephanie McMahon and Gronkowski were back to
we give it down for that?
Of WrestleMania. And I think Gronk had unzipped his shirt to give the impression that a passage
My boy Gronk, look at him.
What a strange guy. Our first proper match was then Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair for the NXT.
This is a down, bro. The match was good. Wrong result, though.
The best thing
Charlotte really did not need this win. I don't care what you guys say about AEW. Charlotte did not need this win.
Any atmosphere, so we will lay our stuff in really, really hard. It was very, very entertaining to watch. Unfortunately, I do not understand this booking. And I don't want to be a geek here, too late, because I already am.
There you go.
There's no way I can change that. But essentially, if you want to break this right now and do Generation X, Charlotte just absolutely whipped the crap out of Rhea Ripley by focusing on her knee, which did make the former NXT champion very, very sympathetic. But then when the time came, and when she felt it was right, she locked in the figure 4, she transitioned into the figure 8, and Rhea Ripley didn't get pinned, there was no creative finish here. She tapped out like a loser. Now, what I thought was going to happen at this moment was that
I can't believe they made Rhea lose, bro.
She was going to find her power, she was going to find her mojo, she was going to fight back, and she was going to retain her championship. But no, that didn't happen. It just ended, and it was really, 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 really unexpected. And look, I get it. I understand. WWE wants to put
Charlotte, two-time NXT champ.
NXT versus AEW ratings can be closer than maybe they are now. But here's a little trick. Don't tell anyone. You can still put the Queen onto Wednesday nights without making her the champion. Also, double.
Yeah, they really shit on that whole division in NXT. We're putting the title on Charlotte, bro.
Superstars and beating them. Bianca Belair, beaten. Rhea Ripley, beaten. It just gives this horrible impression that if you are on NXT and you get put into any main roster spot, WWE will have someone come along and
they're literally telling you everybody down there in NXT is not good enough to beat AEW, which is ridiculous.
You were absolutely wrong. I was wrong, so I apologize. I'm very, very sorry. I did make a mistake. I can't remember if I up and downed it now because I've had no sleep for 48 hours, but it does get a down. And again, it's such a shame
Down.
because this was really, really good.
Hell no.
And the wrong winner. Next up was Aleister Black versus Bobby Lashley. If you've watched my WrestleMania 36 prediction show, you will have known that I'd thrown the idea out there that maybe Aleister could just saunter down to the ring, Bobby could guard him in the ring, and Aleister Black could have just kicked his head off.
This match had no build. It was like really weird.
Still oddly satisfying, and I don't even know why, but I felt a bit like I was having a walk on a Sunday and I sat down to have a picnic. Just nice, just comfortable. Let's get it up. And most of this was Bobby using his power, which Aleister Black just couldn't contend with. He didn't look like the terrifying goth guy he did during his entrance because, you know, it's still WrestleMania, so now he didn't just have like a badass jacket on, he had a badass jacket, but now it had horns. That is Wrestling 101. When it comes to the big shows, you put horns on your coat. Anyway, all of this meant that Lashley started to become overconfident, that fool. So when he went to give Aleister Black the Dominator, Lana, you remember Lana, she was here at ringside, started going, no, give him the spear. And I was like, man, that voice is like nails on a chalkboard. And Bobby, being the moron that he is, listened to her. So he went into the corner and he went to give Aleister Black a spear. And you already know what happened. Aleister smashed him with the Black Mass. And that was it. 1, 2, 3. So do remember this. We're about to break up Bobby Lashley and Lana. I'm really happy we dedicated all that programming to their wedding. And yeah, because of all the circumstances, this didn't feel very much like a WrestleMania angle.
Literally made no sense.
Won by fluke here, but
I don't know why Rusev was not on this card. He should have fought Bobby, and if Andrade was healthy, which he wasn't, he should have fought Aleister Black.
To the back where Sasha Banks and Bayley were being interviewed, and Bayley was super confident. And after she had left the room, Sasha Banks started to tease that maybe later on in their match, she will do the unthinkable and go after her super friend. We were then talking to Gronk again, or he was doing his little bit of hosting, and I swear somebody had given Gronk a script. You don't script Gronk. Whether you love him or hate him, you just have to let him run free like a wild ox. Thought that was really stupid, and of course he told us here he's going to go after the 24/7 championship later. I mean, that was just obvious. Following this was Dolph Ziggler.
Oh, my boy Otis.
Within 2 days, within 48
Let's
hours,
go, baby.
both Dolphy Ziggles and Sonya Deville, who were
Give him that up.
here, had just embraced their asshole ways. Like on SmackDown, they're like, oh, I'm so sorry, Mandy Rose. I didn't mean it. I was just trying to protect you. And here, they were just walking out with all the confidence like, ha, 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 we're a couple of assholes and we don't care. They even posed for the empty arena, and we all have to stop doing that. It's really weird. It doesn't make any sense. And very interestingly enough, Tucker wasn't at ringside because he had been injured on Friday, but neither was Mandy Rose. It's me looking for her. Outside of that, though, I just want to say thank you, WWE. Thank you so much for just sticking to the original plan, because I
go. Give Otis his moment
during troubled times. I ain't even going to talk about the match. I'm just going to talk about what happened.
Ziggler deserves better, but Otis needed his moment.
On the ring apron,
not gonna lie.
Trying to distract the referee. So finally, out came Mandy Rose. She slapped Sonya Deville right in the face. That really hurt my head. She then punched Dolph Ziggler right in the balls. That allowed Otis to hit his caterpillar thing, and Otis got his revenge and pinned Mr. Dolphy Ziggles. Otis then grabbed Mandy in his arms and they kissed, and I was like, this is the greatest relationship to ever happen in the entire universe.
Big up.
Macho Man Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth made up. And there was a lot of bizarre stuff here. For example, when Mandy Rose did enter, she did so to her music, and somebody needs to tell WWE, you only need themes to get a pop from the crowd, otherwise you're just walking out to a song for some reason. And my word, the referee must have been so confused, because obviously he was distracted when Mandy Rose did hit Ziggles in his 2 fruit and veg. And when he turned around, he just saw Dolph going, oh, I mean, what was he meant to think? Oh, and you think he would question something, but again, some things are just
Otis, bro,
when you don't have people in the audience. This was everything that it needed to be. I shouted yes from my sofa I was watching. I love Otis, I love Mandy Rose. I hope they go on to have a wonderful honeymoon and 72 children. Sometimes you just got to keep things obvious, and you got to keep things expected, and you got to keep things on the path to Happy Town. And now here we are. What a lovely place to be. Otis then walked out of the arena carrying Mandy Rose. If you weren't a big wrestling fan or you just tuned in and you didn't know the context, you would have gone, why is this big oaf stealing that little woman? But that wasn't the case. This was not a kidnap. It was just nice, I tell you. It was just nice. And right now in my life, I will take
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't just get an up. It gets an Otisly awesome up, whatever that thing I made up was. Either way, give it up. Then, dear friends, it was Edge versus Randy Orton in a last man standing match. Now, I did feel very sorry for Edge here.
This was a solid match.
Got if we did.
It went on way too long, though. Definitely could have been a lot shorter.
Very, very unfair. And this started pretty good too because Edge was in the ring. And
But shout out to Edge for coming back.
Before Randy Orton appeared from nowhere and gave him an RKO, and he was all disguised in a hoodie. Now, at first I was like, Randy Orton, why have you put a disguise on? There's nobody here. You don't have to try and blend in with anyone. But then it turned out actually he had dressed as the cameraman. I was like, huh.
That was a good spot. That was a good spot.
And look, don't get me wrong, there was loads of good stuff here as well, especially because when you now watch Edge matches, he has become Daniel Bryan, or at least I feel like I'm watching a Daniel Bryan match, and I become Edge's dad because I get so worried. Every time he lands on his head, or he lands on his neck, I'm like, oh gosh, is he okay? I'm like watching between my fingers as if I'm checking out a horror movie, and I guess that kind of adds to the emotion, but I don't know whether it's emotion I enjoy. And this was really intense as well, as the two just fought around almost the entire Performance Center. Like, if you had ever wanted a really intense tour of WWE's training facility,
they had a shit ton of good spots, though.
Randy Orton using a TRX machine,
but they literally went like in every single spot you could.
Rated R superstar, and imagine that advert. Like, oh, do you want to get in the best shape of your life? Buy this piece of apparatus, and when you're not using it for health-related stuff, kill your enemies. And they tried to be super inventive too, and Edge was like swinging off pull-up bars and swinging off...
Yeah, that was my favorite spot. When they were in the meeting room, that was funny.
And look, if you had just wanted to see two men who clearly hated each other try to end each other's life, I really do think that Randy Orton and Edge gave it to you. However, you already know what I'm going to talk about. We do have to mention the length of the damn thing. Officially the second longest match in WrestleMania history. If WWE had just cut this down to 20 or 25 minutes, it would have been a fantastic brawl. But I think we went past 40 here, and there were moments where I was like,
"Nah, I think it was 30."
Watching two men do this,
but it was.
It was just a lot of grunting. There was a lot of grunting, and then the ref would go 1, 2, 3, and I was like, just nothing happened here. And again, I know it's not their fault; it's nobody's fault. But because I don't have the crowd going, "Oh, man, come on, Edge, boo, Edge," just kind of lost something after a while. And I don't want to take away too much from it because there were awesome elements here. Like they took out a cameraman at one point, and then it kind of turned into a video game because they switched to another cameraman who was running through the Performance Center, so it was kind of like a first-person shooter. And Edge had this like makeshift platform that was really high on the air, and he dove off it and hit an elbow drop onto Randy Orton, who was on a table. Now, if you had watched that Edge documentary, he had even said during that, I'm not going to be diving off things anymore or going through thumbtacks. Apparently, this was the exception. And we saw a draping DDT off the top of a truck onto like the wagon of the truck, and then the two were fighting on top of a lorry, and we saw a spear, and we saw an RKO, and some of the noises or the impact of these moves made such a horrible noise you did shudder like and it had a fitting ending too, because you had to presume a concerto was gonna come into this, and it was Edge who did that to Randy Orton to officially finish him off and win his comeback match. And look, Adam Copeland even showed his acting chops here. He was crying at one point. It wasn't cheesy, it wasn't stupid. It actually hit you right in the sad gland, like, ha, take that. But again, we do have to underline and we do have to clarify that this went on for around about 32 years, like it did. In fact, it may still be going on, and I just accidentally stopped watching it because my brain showed me what I wanted to see, the finish of Edge hitting the concerto and getting the victory. But actually, when I go back on the network, there'll still be
fight forever
to hit each other. Also, talking of the network, it did it to me again. Last night, it randomly switched me to Spanish audio or commentary or whatever, and it did it again here to the point I thought Randy Orton had gone, "No, senor," when Edge was coming after him. Somebody fixed that bug. However, the length aside, I did find myself invested in this for most of what I was seeing, and deep down, I kind of assumed this was what we were going to get. It's why nobody else had brawled around the Performance Center on either Saturday or Sunday night. So maybe it didn't hit the highs that we were expecting, and again, somebody, especially because it's pre-taped, would go, we're chopping that, we're chopping that, we're chopping that, and chopping that, but it is going to get an up. It would be unfair to say anything else. Now we need to have a rest. But I think it would be unfair if we didn't address the length with a rating, with a review, with an up or a down. So I don't like doing this. I'm doing this for the people that got in touch with me because I can't argue it. I can't debate it. If you said, Simon, did you think it was too long? I'd go yes. And that would be the end of the conversation. But because of that bit doesn't go down. Then it was classic WWE, just classic. They knew how heavy this was, so someone had gone, well, now we gotta have some fun. We gotta have the goofiness. And all of a sudden, all the geeks were running after Mojo Rawley, but eventually it was Rob Gronkowski that got the pin on his former best friend, and he is now your new 24/7 champion. down. It was like watching Dead Man Walking, and the very next thing you see
Gronk,
is the
baby.
Emoji Movie. Also, Rob Gronkowski dove off one of those podiums, and I'm so sick of these damn podiums, but it was shot in a way that you only saw his back, so I'm going to presume that somebody else actually took that fall, but that's fine. There's no need to take unnecessary risks. Also, I get why WWE did this. They will now get a bunch of mainstream coverage. It was fine. I just didn't need it. Right after, I'd seen Edge and Randy Orton literally trying to murder one another. The Street Profits then retained their Raw Tag Team titles. That's it. Went around about 5 minutes. We definitely needed something short here.
Nah, you're not gonna bring up
We got it.
Bianca Belair?
Ford hit a big frog splash. That allowed Dawkins to get the pin. That's all I've got. Bad guys beat him up afterwards. Bianca Belair came out to make the save. She's married to Montez Ford. How you doing? You well? You having a nice time? We also learned that Titus O'Neil was taking over hosting duties here. I don't know if we necessarily needed that. I mean, what had Gronk done up to this point? Nothing. But I'm here to recap, so I'm recapping. It was the SmackDown Women's 5-Way next. So I thought I'd
Okay.
Or essentially, I put a little poem together. This is my WrestleMania poem by me, Simon Miller. 5 women went to war at sea. It was Sasha, Bailey, Evans, and Naomi. The 5th was Tamina. She was a threat, so they all attacked her like they had a bet. It worked long before they all hit their moves. Tamina was gone. She was always going to lose. Naomi was next, tapped out to Banks. Then, for some reason, here was Tom Hanks. This is a lie. It's simply not real.
Yo, Banks should have won this match. I think she's like 0-6 at WrestleMania.
Saw Banks lose to Lacey, but this was getting
I'm not sure, but she doesn't have a win,
the movie
which kind of
Race.
sucks for her, bro.
For you see, Banks came back and attacked Evans for her friend. Allowed
This is
Bell
the
to
spot where
win,
she should have
and
won.
That was the end. There was tension in the air. That was clear as a pup. When all said is done, I'm giving it an up. Why do people always put that
But
voice
instead
on?
of like
They
how
repose
Bailey
it.
ended
They
the
do,
match,
I
how
did
she
it.
won,
Without even
and
thinking about it,
Lacey
even
knocked
halfway
out
through, I
Sasha,
thought,
they should have
sounds
switched
like
spots.
an absolute
Bailey should have been
ass.
knocked out,
These two are definitely
and
going
then
to
Sasha
feud.
should have
I'm
won the
enjoying
match,
constant
and then build that
teasing.
up till
And shout out to
SummerSlam
Bailey
with Banks as
for yelling
champion.
at
But
Naomi for her stupid dance.
you know what? They got a plan.
It was actually alright. Far funner than I was expecting. And now,
No, this match was
I have
fucking
no idea.
fucked up, but
As we arrive
I
at
loved it.
Firefly Funhouse, or what I'm going to call the Firefly Funhouse experience, between John Cena and Bray Wyatt. And my big question, or my first question, or a question that I really would like answered, if you are a new wrestling fan, and you're not into insider references or insider baseball, what the hell did you think of this? You must have been absolutely confused.
I'm a
I still
wrestling
can't believe
fan,
it's
and
real.
I was
Still
confused
can't
at that.
believe it's real. Like, it started with John Cena making his normal entrance, but then he was transported to the Firefly Funhouse, and Cena did his whole, oh no, I think I dropped my wallet earlier. Now I'm nowhere near where I was. Oh, I've lost my wallet. Before rambling, Rabbit said, dude, you gotta go through the door. And the door is like, what started? Well, the madness. What started the madness? Because what essentially happened is that we went through John Cena's career. So we saw Ruthless Aggression John Cena, we saw Dr. Thugonomics John Cena, we saw every facet of John Cena's personality. And the idea here is that it was John Cena not only facing himself, but he was also facing all of his nightmares. So, for example, at one point he was Hollywood Hogan from the NWO. And why was he Hollywood Hogan from the NWO? Well, it's because we, the fans, have always been like, John Cena should turn heel. Why didn't John
I think
Hogan
Cena's
turn
gonna come back as a heel, or he's gonna retire.
You know how it goes. But that was the whole point here. So it was just making, like I say, all these insider references. So people like you and I were like, oh, I love it so much. I understand. I'm part of a special club. But yeah, if you don't get it, what were you thinking? It was brilliantly narrated by Bray Wyatt too, who just got this entirely, and I thought put in a damn good performance. But unlike the Boneyard match, which of course it is going to compare to, there wasn't really a thread running through it, and really, it wasn't much of a match. It was just a series of vignettes telling this kind of fascinating story. But also at one point, John Cena was
Nah, this was not a match,
Bray
though,
Wyatt on the
but-
floor. But then there was like a weird camera cut. And it turned
It was
out
really
he was
entertaining, though, I'm not gonna lie.
Hospice the Pig. John Cena couldn't have looked sadder if he tried. I actually said out loud, John, you don't need to worry. You're beating up a fake pig. He's not alive. And there were so many other cool things that we could talk about, like we went back to Saturday night's main event, and the Vince McMahon puppet was on commentary. And even
Listen,
at one
I'm a
point
Fiend
said,
fan, but
"It's such
honestly,
good
I think the
Once
Boneyard
again,
match was
you either
better.
get
But there's a
that,
poll
or
up.
you don't
I want
get
to see
it.
what you guys
You
think.
have no idea what the hell was going on. This was very much for you and I. It also just ended too, like the Fiend popped up from nowhere and he mandible clawed John Cena, who then evaporated into dust.
You got him when he's vulnerable.
More, I think this was meant to be him fearing or him worrying about his own retirement. This is very layered. There is a lot of depth here. I would implore you to go back and watch it multiple times because you will learn something, well, new each time.
Nah, this was awesome.
So I massively appreciated the effort, but I have to tell the truth, when it was done, I didn't think it compared to the Boneyard match. And I want to salute WWE for their creativity. You have smashed it out of the park over these last 48 hours. But yes, I think my expectations were also heightened after what I had seen on Saturday night. Don't worry though, it's still getting an up, it's still getting an up, it was still really good. There's no golden up, there's no diamond up, there's no platinum up, which I wanted to give out today. I was really ready to give it out, but when it was done, like I said, I was like, that was good, that was great, I'm gonna watch it again. But it didn't affect me as much as I was hoping. However, it does prove that when WWE has their backs against the wall, they can actually come
Those
up with
two
fresh concepts
matches benefited the most from all this
into
stuff.
their regular programming.
From all the coronavirus nonsense.
Bray Wyatt once more. Bray Wyatt is so good at what he does, it makes me want to run through a field and just throw my clothes off and get naked. I don't know why. It's just the sensation that I have. It did mean as well that our main event was Drew McIntyre versus Brock Lesnar, and I know one person that would have been very happy with this, and it was Big E, because this was just two guys slapping meat. And you know who else was happy with this? This guy, Simon Miller. It up. I mean, with a crowd, this would have been absolutely faboo, and it did kind of echo the other world title match that we'd seen the previous night, where people just store up their finishes and then spam away.
That Strowman Goldberg match was terrible.
Brock kicked out of a Claymore early
Goldberg looked so out of shape in that match.
Down on the floor, and then Brock went into German suplex mode, but these were far more vicious than they had been before, simply because McIntyre, smart boy that he is, was trying to avoid them. He was trying to hold on the ropes. Brock was like, that ain't happening, and he powered on through. So it was pretty cool, as it was when the Beast hit his first F5. Why? Because the Scottish psychopath kicked out at one. And I had many emotions during this. The first was, that was badass. And the second was, can you imagine if we had done this in front of a crowd, people would have been so happy, and like me, they would have glued their hands to their head, because they wouldn't know what else to have done.
Drew would have got a big pop if this was in Tampa.
This time, Drew kicked out at two. It's like they were doing a fun maths game. Brock was like, how many times have I hit with the F5?
Read his faces.
Brock, so he kicks out of one. Then it was like, how many times have I hit with the F5? Oh, it's two, Brock. So he kicked out at two. It was kind of obvious what was coming next, but who the hell cares? Sometimes going down the expected path is the right direction to go in. Because Brock Lesnar hit Drew McIntyre with a third F5, and we stopped playing the maths game. This time, Drew McIntyre kicked out, he lost his mind, he got really angry, he got really annoyed, and he hit Brock Lesnar with 3 Claymore kicks, hooked the leg, and because it was 3, he got the 3 count, he got the pin.
I'm glad Drew won. Good decision.
Drew McIntyre is not only your brand new WWE champion, but Drew McIntyre is the first guy from the United Kingdom to hold that title. Drew, you have no idea how happy I am for you. You have no idea how much I think you deserve this. It sucks you didn't have an audience to cheer you on, but know that I was cheering you on so loud, neighbors knocked on my door and went, shut up. And then I invited them in. I showed them you winning the title, and we all danced around the living room. Some parts of that story aren't true, but no, I loved it if it would have happened. So I love this, it felt like a true moment, and what a redemption story this was. The guy that was meant to be the chosen one, then he got fired, and now...
I don't know why, but the WWE title just fits Drew. Like it really does.
To finish off a 2-night part of WrestleMania 36, if you want my deep down opinions...
The title looks like it belongs on him, honestly.
But I also think that would be the same for most events, because night 1, yeah, excitement is high, and night 2, it will still be high, but it will never be the same as night 1. That's how life works. There's my spinning arrow. It gets an app. And all in all, fair enough, WWE. You were put in a very difficult situation, and I thought you pulled it out the bag. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know, what did you think of WrestleMania Night 2? What did you think of WrestleMania Night 1? How do you feel on this Monday afternoon? Then head over to whatculture.com. You can read lots of articles, especially a really cool one about the Boneyard match. Follow What Culture on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE, and watch more videos here on What Culture Wrestling.
Yeah, go give What Culture a look, bro. They got a lot of good stuff.
WrestleMania 36.
A lot of good content.
From What Culture, thank you very much for watching. I will be back tomorrow to up those downs for Raw. If Raw even goes ahead, who the hell knows?
Peace out, Simon.
But maybe they just decided to blow up the tape because we're living in crazy times. But otherwise, thank you for joining me for the weekend. I'll see you soon.
So that's the end. I thought WrestleMania was a big fat W. I don't know what you guys think. I thought it was good for what they had, like for all this stuff happening. I thought they put on a good show. I thought the Boneyard match and the Firefly Funhouse match was the most that benefited from this happening. Drew winning the title was a big moment. And that's it. 10 likes. We'll do WrestleMania Day 1 ups and downs. Check out What Culture. They have a lot of good stuff. And we out. Peace.
Yeah, stop wasting my time. Trying to get mine. Get out the way. Move. Trying to get paid. Bands on the way. Just bought a safe. Ooh. Crib with a gate. I need me a leg, but that's on the way. Ooh. Yeah, that's on